Yo, what is up, guys? We are back again. It is the 90-mile podcast. We're back again because we had our first episode last time, so we can finally say that we're back again. Oh my god. So this is the 90-mile podcast. We talk about
Let's get it.
everything football except for the big DS, big owner of that WFT. We're going into acronyms today. Speaking of acronyms, we're gonna go over. What are we gonna go over, Adam? We're gonna go over MVP, DPOY, OPOY.
Yeah. We're gonna start off today. We're talking about the NFC, AFC Championship games, our views, stats, whatever we want to talk about. Then we're gonna go on to predictions about the Super Bowl winner, complete outcome, who's gonna shine, who's gonna be in the shadows, and then we're gonna go to our last second award predictions with MVP, offensive, defensive players of the year, offensive, defensive rookie of the year, and coach of the year. So let's get it. Let's start off with our first game of the weekend, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Green Bay Packers. Jish, you want to start off with this?
Sure, I'd like to start off with this. It was a well thought out game. No, I'm not gonna speak in vague terms like that. I muted it and did play-by-play for it, as I did with both games, because, I'm trying to be in sports commentary when I'm older, and play-by-play, I think, is a good skill. So I was watching the whole thing. There was so many questions on the Packers side, and, you gotta feel a little bit bad for Aaron Rodgers, that field goal at the end of the game was so questionable when you're down 8, and it's 4th and goal. Granted, Rodgers could have scored the previous play by just running it in. He had a wide-open lane, but you're going to kick a field goal there? You're still going to have to score a touchdown to win the game afterwards anyway. I don't agree with that clock management by Matt LaFleur. I kind of understand the reasoning, because you have the 2-minute warning to stop the clock, all 3 timeouts, and of course the Bucks were bailed out by the penalty, that BS penalty, but at the same time, there was just so many opportunities that the Packers could have had, when they pick off Brady 3 times in the second half after he's on fire in the first half, and they did nothing with it, so...
How I just want to talk about how you said Matt LaFleur, like, you understand the idea with the timeout and the 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning, and I do agree with that. If you weren't playing Brady, Andy Reid said it himself, you never give the ball back to Brady, and you couldn't. And now, granted, the odds of, let's just say Green Bay goes for it, gets a 2-point conversion, and it's a tie game, I think Buccaneers still win. I think Brady drives down. But we never really know with how, like you said, 3 picks in the second half. And it's just like, you just can't give the ball back to Brady, especially when you're down in a close playoff game. It's like you're asking to lose. And especially their coaching, or Kevin King with the Scotty Miller touchdown before that's on Kevin King, and that's on coaching. You got to let the players know, don't let anyone behind you. Scotty Miller just ran straight, and it's like the Henry Ruggs touchdown against the Jets. He just ran straight, and you let him by him for the last-second touchdown, which is the worst possible thing you could have done.
Damn it, Adam, stealing my talking points. I was literally just about to say that is a Greg Williams play call right there. Kevin King was not playing well all day, though, unless it came to underneath, like, tackling. He was very good at tackling, blowing up screens and whatnot. But when it came to, doing his job as a corner downfield, got mossed by Mike Evans, got toasted by Scotty Miller. He couldn't really do anything right. And it really sucked to see. But when the defense stepped up for once, with Darnell Savage playing out of his mind, and Jair Alexander being Jair Alexander, and making Brady look, flustered. When Rodgers got the ball back, he couldn't do anything. It was 2 3-and-outs. It's so heartbreaking because Rodgers is always on the doorstep. He's always right there. Last year was the Niners. It's the Falcons. It's the there was the years
Seahawks.
Oh my God, the Seahawks.
The Seahawks. They look good in the playoffs, and then when it hits the final game, the NFC Championship game, they choke. They lose it, and I think that has to. A lot of people can blame Rodgers for that, and I can't necessarily disagree. But I say, before, these past 2 years, before that, it was McCarthy. I was never a big fan of McCarthy as a coach. And then LaFleur, that he's in the regular season and in the beginning of the playoffs, he looks great. And then he makes question calls in NFC Championship game. So maybe it's LaFleur letting the nerves get to him, or him being a bad coach. There's so many different things about it. But like you said, it's just heartbreaking seeing one of the most talented quarterbacks of all time in the league to constantly be so close to ensuring him, like, if he wins his second Super Bowl, he's going to go down definitely as a top 5 quarterback of all time. And he probably will with only one Super Bowl, but it's not a definite, which is what he needs, which he just can't get.
I like how you emphasized how he's one of the most talented quarterbacks in all of history. I don't know if he can make top 5 with just one ring. I mean, you have people like
Yeah.
Steve Young with one ring, who I don't think is top 10, but he was super athletic and is still considered one of the greats. And but you also have people like Nick Foles with one ring. You're not going to see him. I mean, of course, granted, he's not as athletic and
But
doesn't have the same number. I'm listen.
yeah,
I'm just
Nick.
I'm playing. I'm being a little hyperbolic here, right? But I mean, I don't. I think if Rodgers can't if he can't elevate to that level again, the Packers, I think ever since the departure of ever since Greg Jennings put the team on his back, the team hasn't been the same. But in all seriousness, I don't think Matt LaFleur is a bad coach, and I don't think Aaron Rodgers is not one of the better athletic quarterbacks of all time. He can throw the ball so like Mahomes style. People don't give him enough credit for that. He can run the balls too. He's basically the Mahomes before Mahomes. And but I think Mahomes already has better accolades than him, and I think Mahomes has a greater chance of being top 5 than Rodgers does. As for the quarterback on the other side, Brady, well, I mean, what is there to say? You can start off that
Oh,
conversation.
oh man. Well, that's the thing. 6 championships. This will be his 10th Super Bowl appearance. So the craziest stat, since entering the league, Brady has been a part of 48% of the Super Bowls. He's just on another level. Which
Oh my god, wait, I'm
to
gonna
me,
interrupt.
there's a
Did you
lot of
see? Oh my god, wait,
things.
I'm gonna interrupt. Did you see the stat that Tom Brady has made a Super Bowl in 10 out of 21 of his seasons? That means I forget the percentage. It was like around 46. Steph
48. Yeah,
48.
48.
Steph Curry's career 3-point percentage is I think
45.
43%, 45%. Tom Brady is more likely to make a Super Bowl than Steph Curry is to make a 3.
That's just like it's insane. Like, and what's crazy is how he gets there in different ways. So, like in the beginning of his career, he was like throwing all over. Like he was first quarterback to throw 50 touchdowns in a season, and then later in the year when his targets weren't as great as they used, like the people who he's throwing to, his receivers aren't as skilled as they used to be, which, or like just in general, like his like talent obviously slow, like not saying he completely fell off the map, but he definitely decreased from the beginning of his career. He still found ways to win by running out the clock, making long drives, and winning a game 17-10 instead of 42 40 or something like that. He finds different ways to win, especially when it matters, which makes him the best quarterback of all time.
I think Brady and Rodgers, despite how, similar they are in sports discourse, they're actually quite the opposite. Brady is no athletic darling. I mean, ever since the start of his career, when he was like in his early 20s, he was running like 5.21 4-yard dashes. But he's never really had to be athletic. He's always had, like you said, the good game management, the good clock, the really good coaching throughout his entire career. System quarterback. He had Belichick as his coach. He's had Randy Moss, Wes Welker, Julian Edelman as his wide receivers, Gronk. And then in Tampa Bay, he's had Bruce Arians as his coach, who is a quarterback guru. He's had Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, different times. Gronk again.
Yeah, well,
Aaron
I just
Hernandez.
want to. Oh God, uh, I just want to say Randy Moss, like, yeah, he's a great, phenomenal receiver. He was only with the Patriots for I think 2 years or a year and a half,
4 years.
and they didn't win a championship with him. 4 years? I don't think it was that. Was it that much?
You know that
But
Randy.
anyway, either way, they didn't.
Go on.
What?
Go
Yeah,
on with
they
your
didn't
hot
win a
takes about
championship
Randy
with.
Moss.
No, no, it's not about Randy Moss. I'm saying you're saying like he had such great receivers, but Randy Moss, he didn't win a championship with Randy Moss. Wes Walker is going to go down one of the best slot receivers of all time. But I think Wes Walker was so praised because he was with Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, both when they were throwing 50 touchdowns this season. You're going to put up numbers like that. And I'm not saying like Wes Walker isn't good. He's a great receiver. But I think it was Brady and Manning who made him such a great receiver, which is why Brady should be getting more credit about his receiver success
I
than
mean,
instead of less credit, like what you were saying.
don't discount Moss though. Moss set the record for most wide receivers in a season when he was in New England, not when he was on Minnesota, not when he was in Oakland, not when he was in Tennessee or Minnesota again or
But does he
San
have a
Fran.
champ? Does he have a championship?
That's a Randy Moss problem. That's
No.
not. That's not a. Listen, he could have. He
No,
just as
that's
well
what I'm
could
trying
have.
to
Listen, you know
say.
what?
Brady, I'm saying this right now. Throughout his career, Brady's played better with the receivers who are better at route running and understand the game better, and then the receivers that are athletic freaks. And you can quote me on that. If you look, his connection with Antonio Brown, he's not like a DK Metcalf or Randy Moss with athleticism, but his route running is insane. His quickness on his breaks is insane, and that's why Brady and Brown were clicking so much when Brown finally played. Mike Evans, if you looked, it took a while because he was just that tall, deep guy, which Brady wasn't really used to. Scotty Miller, when Brown was suspended or Godwin was hurt, Scotty Miller is like that guy who's Scotty Miller says he's the fastest receiver in the league, but he's just great route runner, and that's why Brady had a good connection with Miller when Miller was getting playing time. I think Brady, you can put some of the best receivers or best athletic freaks with Brady. He just needs someone that sees the game how he sees it. You
And I
said
mean,
it, Brady.
I don't think that this Super Bowl was all that Tampa Bay offense though. At the same time, you have to give Todd Bowles so
No.
much credit. I think
Oh
that
yeah,
I
definitely.
think that this front seven, the secondary, so underrated, so deep, so stacked. I mean, you were telling me beforehand how you think that this is probably the best front seven in all of football. And if the 49ers were healthy, I would
Yeah, they are.
disagree. If the 49ers were healthy, I would disagree. But I can't argue with you. I think, I love to argue with you. I
But
love to demean you. And I can't. I can't, They've done such a great job in Tampa Bay. And I think they definitely deserve to be in that Super Bowl.
yeah, I'm saying but you can't take away Brady throwing 40 touchdowns. That's what people aren't talking about. He still threw for 40 touchdowns, which is more than any quarterback last year, while he's 42 years old. But okay, now let's go on to the next game: the Bills versus the Chiefs. Do you want to start off, or
Sure, I can start off. Um, Good game. It was a good game. Although, if you only looked at the box score, you'd think it's a better game than it actually was. It turned out being close, but that's typically how the Chiefs games go. They usually have some mistakes in the beginning. You're shaking your head as if it wasn't close at the end, as if the Bills didn't recover an onside kick and didn't score on that. It was like, what was it, like 31-44? It was a close game. I mean, on the
they
box score, the Chiefs, of course, were
they
the
were
Chiefs.
down?
They rolled over every single team
They
in their, even if it's a MVP Josh Allen led team.
they were.
They're
You're saying that it was a close game, but and he brought up the onside kick. The Bills were down 3 scores with less than 4 minutes left of the game. That to me is not a close game. Now you could put in 2 garbage time touchdowns. That still is not a close game.
I said a good game.
Now on a good game, it was not a good game. In the first half, in the first quarter, the Bills were playing like the Bills were looking good, and the Chiefs were like they weren't even playing. Like they were just like they didn't need this win. And then when the Chiefs finally started playing, it looked like the Bills weren't even on the field. It looked like the Bills were playing with the man down. That's because they just were not moving the ball at all, not getting to the end zone, and not stopping the Chiefs. And speaking about not getting into the end zone, I don't understand Sean McDermott kicking 2 field goals on 2 separate occasions when it's 4th and 3 or less. You know you need to score points against the Chiefs. You
But do you
got to
really
get into the end zone.
you really want to give the ball back to Mahomes and the Chiefs, man? Look,
You're,
Mahomes, if he keeps it up, if he lives up to his contract, he could be the greatest quarterback of all time. He could be chasing Brady when this is all said and done. And
yeah,
just this, if you want to give the ball back to this offense while getting nothing out of it, it's very much a risk because Josh Allen that entire game. If we were watching the same game, whenever he got any pressure, he's running back like 40 yards, and then either getting rid of it not getting rid of it or getting rid of it too late, taking sacks. He was not playing smart football that day, and they needed to really go for the quick RPOs that were working for him, the quick RPOs to Knox and Diggs was shut down, so they had to go with the short game as well. Their offense was completely shut down by a Chiefs defense that's usually not as strong as it played in the AFC Championship there. So I
well,
kind of I get that a little bit.
no, but I don't because it's like what's his coach of the I can't I'm forgetting his name. Coach of the Raiders,
Gruden.
John Gruden. Yeah. He said when asked about stopping the Chiefs offense, you can't stop them, so you just gotta score more than them. You're not gonna score more than the Chiefs offense by kicking field goals. You gotta go for it. What you do is if it's 4th and 3 or less, you run a bootleg with Diggs going across the middle and Dawson Knox sitting on the first down. So you give the Josh Allen the chance to throw to Diggs, basically dump it off to Dawson Knox or run for it. And that's what you got to do because kicking field goals, you're not going to win the game. Those 2 drives resulted in 6 points when one drive alone for the Chiefs would score that on a constant rate against you.
Well, maybe Brian Dable should take a head coaching job next offseason. I mean, all of them are full now. He should take a coaching job next offseason. They should hire you as offensive coordinator then, because you obviously know more than Brian Dable does. I mean,
Well,
I agree with you in a sense. I know what you're saying, and I think that the Panthers did that also, but it came up short. And you have to really have trust that your offense is going to keep firing in all cylinders, and they didn't. I mean, the offense was frustrated, and it was getting chippy at the end, and maybe that's because the frustration of not going for it. But it's just I think they were flustered and they weren't ready for the Chiefs to roll over them like the Chiefs do all season.
well, that's the thing. You said they kicked the field goal because they trust the offense to throw the ball all around the Chiefs. But 2 things. One, for the most part, Bills are not really throwing the ball over. They were in the beginning of the first quarter and the end of the fourth quarter, but throughout the game, they were not moving the ball well. 2, if you really trust your offense, you go for it. You trust them to get that 3 yards on one play. And by kicking those field goals, you're saying you trust your defense. But I don't care how much trust you have in your defense, you're not stopping that Chiefs offense. Especially when they had 4 straight drives inside your 20-yard line. You're not going to stop them, so you just have to score more than them.
Okay. I also think it was questionable that the Bills kept using T.J. Yeldon when Devin Singletary was just having a better game than him all around. I don't know why they kept rolling out T.J. Yeldon. I guess that's just my opinion. But, I mean, they kept bringing T.J. Yeldon out. And even on, like, passing downs and downs where they need, like, a quicker back, which I think Singletary is. Not by much, but he is a quicker back than Yeldon is. I think they should have brought out Singletary. I think the coaching was questionable for the Bills. But you got to be proud of them. They got it this far. But somebody else you have to really be proud of is McCole Hardman, man.
Oh my! He stepped it up after that fumble.
That's the accountability of a championship winning team, and I don't like tooting on like intangibles too much, or numbers too much. I think it's a good mix. But when you are you saw how dejected he looked on the sideline after fumbling it, and I saw this audio clip of Patrick Mahomes, incredible leader, coming over to him and saying, "We'll get it right back. You're good. You're golden." And then the next basically his next touch is a 50-yard jet sweep. Incredible.
Yeah. But let's just talk about Andy Reid and the trust in Miko Hardman. One of your young players makes a big mistake that resulted in 6 points because the Bills missed the extra PAT. But a 6 point swing when you thought you were getting the ball back. And instead of benching him, you give him the ball back and you let him make plays. He scored 2 touchdowns and had over 100 receiving yards in that first half after fumbling. It's just phenomenal trust. Andy Reid is a great coach, and him finally winning championships is going to solidify him as one of the best of all time.
Yeah, hot take. I think if he wins the Super Bowl this year, stays around for another year, win three-peats, first coach to ever do that, he's got to be in consideration with Belichick, with the Steve Walsh, oh my god, what's the, Bill Walsh? Oh my god, I forgot his name. The Bill Walshes, the Chuck Knowles of like top tier coaches of all time, because he now has the Super Bowls to back it up. He did great with the Eagles, great with the Chiefs, won championships with the Chiefs late in his career. All of his coordinators have gone on to get jobs, except for some blaring difference. I don't know what's wrong with Eric Bieniemy.
Bieniemy.
It's just such a train robbery that he doesn't have a job, a head coaching job. He deserves it. Andy Reid has one of the most impressive coaching trees in the NFL. Andy Reid has got to be considered one of the greatest of all time coaches.
Yeah, and like the stat, there's only been 2 teams to host 3 straight conference championship games.
Both
one was with the Chiefs led by coached by Andy Reid, and the Eagles coached by Andy Reid.
Yeah.
Let me just add that the Eagles coached by Andy Reid didn't win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, whatever.
They did not win a Super Bowl.
Donovan McNabb, he can't hold his lunch.
Yeah.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do? It was a 3-point game. It was a close game.
Yeah.
But Andy Reid has gotten better with his time management, I must say. And it sucks that he's probably a good cheeseburger away from a heart attack. But he still is one of the most prolific head coaches of all time, and you cannot deny that.
Offensive. He is arguably the best offensive head coach of all time.
And I think when it comes to offense, who probably has his number? The guy who he's playing in the Super Bowl right now, Bruce Arians, an incredible offensive coach as well. I think the Super Bowl is going to be an incredible offensive matchup, and I think we can go into our predictions now. I think that's a good segue there, yeah? All right.
Yeah, that's a great segue.
You can go first.
Okay. Before we talk about like the outcome of the game, I have a crazy prediction. Tyreek Hill, less than 100 receiving yards, but Miko Hardman and Kelsey both have over 125.
Crazy hot take.
And I'll explain why. What's his face? Michael Thomas had 0 catches against the Tampa Bay defense. They shut down Davante Adams for a large part of the game. Part of it, yes, part of it, no, but they did do a relatively good job shutting down the number 1 receiver on teams. And they know from their last game, they're not going to let Tyreek Hill win the game for the Chiefs. So they're going to direct it on stopping Tyreek Hill. But the only difference between the Chiefs and the Packers and Saints is Chiefs can throw 200 yards to their secondary or Kelsey, who would be the number 1 receiver or a tight end, but number 1 target on most teams, and Miko Hardman. Both of them have the ability and explosiveness to just go nuts when you're focusing on Tyreek Hill.
I disagree. With you, Adam Barrett. I disagree because one thing that Michael Thomas and Davante Adams are much different than Tyreek Hill. They are great in their own rights. They're incredible route runners. They got great hands, good separation, but they don't got that speed that Tyreek has. They don't have that Scotty Miller speed that Tyreek Hill has. Tyreek Hill, you can double him all you want. You can bracket him. You can do whatever you want as a defensive back. You're not going to stop Tyreek Hill. He's going to get open. And the minute you focus on anyone else, Tyreek Hill is going to get catches. And I don't think that it's plausible that even if they double him, that he's not going to have over 100 yards.
No, I do agree, but I feel Andy Reid understands that they're going to be targeting like Tyreek Hill on the defense. They're going to try to stop him, and Mahomes going to know that too. And I think Kelsey is going to get a lot of those second like middle things. That it's going to be like the Bills. What was it? He had like 10 catches for 100 yards in the first half. He's going to have a game like that where he just keeps getting those short throws, and then like he gets the run after the catch, and as soon as he's going to break one deep, and he's going to have a great game. I think Tyreek Hill is going to get stopped because you said it yourself. I don't know if it was here in this video or when we were just talking a couple days ago, but in the second half of the Chiefs Buccaneers game, Tyreek Hill wasn't really doing that much. He's ended with what, like 250 yards? 207 of them were in the first quarter, which is insane. But the Bucs found a way to limit him. And maybe he ran out of gas. Maybe the Chiefs were just messing around because they were up by so much at the time. But I just think the Buccaneers are not going to allow Tyreek Hill to control the game. And because of that, Mecole Hardman, or maybe Sammy Watkins, because I don't know if Sammy Watkins is playing, but whoever, and then Travis Kelce are going to go nuts.
I don't think it's a hot take to say that Travis Kelce will go nuts. I think that's a very cool take.
No, but I think Mecole Hardman is going to be the one that has a great game.
Maybe it's Demarcus Robinson. Maybe it's Byron Pringle. Who knows? Le'Veon Bell gets all these passes. So you might want to just jump right into the Super Bowl prediction of who's going to win.
I'm going to go Chiefs win 31-24. Maybe 34-27, but it's going to be somewhere around there. I think the Chiefs have the offense to just throw all around the Tampa Bay defense, and Tampa Bay defense is a good defense, but I don't think anybody can stop the Chiefs. I think Brady's going to do the best he can to keep it close, but I just don't think they're going to be able to keep up with that Chiefs high-powered offense.
I was really, really, really close to putting the Bucs, and it's for one reason. Eric Fisher just has an Achilles injury. Just maybe tore his Achilles. I'm not quite sure. But we know with that front seven what that Bucs defense can do. If they, take advantage of those matchups, you have Martinez Rankin on the other side, and their guard Duvernay, Lawrence, whatever. He opted out of the season. Their offensive line is very depleted, and I think that could, if the pressure gets to Mahomes and he can't escape it, that would be the most surefire way to stop this offense. But then I remembered that Cleveland game, even when Mahomes was out. When Chad Henne comes in, when you have Andy Reid coaching your team, you simplify the offense a little bit, but you do not go away from what you're doing. That's why I think Tyreek Hill is going to have a good game, because I don't think Andy Reid's the type to shy away from getting the balls in the hands of his best players, despite what the defense does. I think that even with injuries, these Chiefs are a winning team. They have the next man up mentality, and I think whoever plays left tackle, I think that the Chiefs are going to go with their short RPOs, their runs to Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Le'Veon Bell. Their defense is going to play well enough. I think that Chris Jones is still a world record. You got Tyrann Mathieu still, Daniel Sorensen, the headhunter.
Daniel Sorensen's a beast.
The corners playing out of their minds. I think that, and Brady has shown that he has made very bad mistakes. And if the Chiefs can capitalize on those mistakes, unlike what the Packers did in the championship game, and unlike what the football team could ever do, or the Saints with noodle arm Debris could ever do, I think that the Chiefs are the one team who can capitalize on their mistakes and win. And I think the final score,
yes,
I think it'll be, I think the Chiefs will actually be hampered a little bit. I think, I would say around 28-24.
28-24. Yeah. Okay, now obviously we gave our predictions, but I want to talk about the Tampa Bay offense for a little bit. Just give me a second. I got something to pull out from my hot take, or I don't know if it'll be much of a hot take, but let's see.
Uh-oh. He's going to come back in with a gun. Anyway, I should take this time while he's out to say that if you're enjoying this video, please subscribe, help with the algorithm, comment, and he's back. Let's see what kind of dumb stuff he has to say.
Got it. Okay. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
the number one leading receiver for the Super Bowl for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Don't say Scotty Miller.
He's gonna nah, the main man himself, former Pittsburgh Steeler, Antonio Brown.
I
My
think that's pretty
reasoning why
spicy.
I think that's fine. That Brady, if you were watching after like the second or third game from Antonio Brown coming back, him and Brady were just clicking on everything. They were hitting, like it was that Falcons game where he scored his first touchdown. I think he had a touchdown in every game since until his injury against the Saints in the game. But he just missed the game, so he's gonna have 3 weeks off, which is not great. With like it could be good and it could be bad. But I'm thinking Antonio Brown knows that this is going to be his best chance at winning a Super Bowl. He didn't win one with Pittsburgh. He was out for about a year and a half, 2 years. Like he knows this is going to be his best shot. He's not going to let anything change. And his connection with Brady is always on point, which is why he's going to outplay Mike Evans, outplay Chris Godwin, outplay Scotty Miller, and he's just going to ball out and lead the receive. He's going to have, you ready? 9 catches for 153 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Whew, you
My
heard it
stats
here
for Antonio
first.
Brown this game.
You heard it here first on the
Yeah.
90 Mile Podcast. I'm going to tell you
Yeah.
why you're wrong. It's because Travis Kelce still exists. He didn't die. He's going to be a main focal point of that offense. Like I said, they're probably going to try and get the ball out quick. I think out of both teams, it's going to be Travis Kelce. And I think
Okay.
that Super Bowl MVP.
No, I'm talking about. Well, I was talking about for the Tampa Bay offense. I think
Oh.
I'm talking about his Tampa Bay offense.
Well, for the Tampa Bay
Yeah.
offense, I
But
might
yeah,
agree with you.
your
I might
Super Bowl
agree with you.
MVP.
Super Bowl MVP. Gotta be Mahomes. I'm sorry, I can't. I want to be. I want to be controversial. I want to have a hot take. But you bet against Mahomes, you're just a moron. I think you bet against Brady, you're a moron too. So you're in a conundrum. You're in the moron. You're in the moron paradox right now.
The paradox. Yep. Okay. Yeah, and say Mahomes. I don't think you can go through it because when a team wins the Super Bowl, most of the time it's the quarterback who gets the MVP. Like last year, I'm a big believer saying it should have been Damian Williams. Mahomes did have a great game, but he also threw 2 picks. Damian Williams had a great game. I think it was 3 total touchdowns, over 150 scrimmage yards. I thought he should have won the MVP, but quarterbacks tend to win it. I think Mahomes is going to have a good game. I don't think he's going to throw that many like maybe 1 pick, but I don't think he's going to throw 2. I think Chiefs win and Mahomes gets the MVP.
Okay. Speaking of MVP, Adam, who do you think will be the MVP of the league?
You got to go with Aaron Rodgers. If it wasn't for the Dolphins game, I'll say Mahomes. But after Mahomes throwing 3 interceptions in 1 game, sealed it for Aaron Rodgers. He's going to win his 3rd MVP and become the 2nd player all time after Brett Favre to win 3 MVPs and only have 1 Super Bowl win. What about you, Jish?
Probably have to go with Aaron Rodgers as well. But look out for a dark horse candidate in Josh Allen. You never know how the voters are going to vote. I feel like people think Mahomes just automatically is going to be a lock it too. Do not count out Josh Allen, man. Josh Allen has had some great games. He could be number 2 in MVP voting. You never know.
Okay. Speaking about a dark horse candidate for getting a lot more votes than a lot of people are saying, this will lead us to the next part. Offensive Player of the Year. My Offensive Player of the Year, and I think he's going to get more votes than expected in the MVP. Derrick Henry. He has over 2,000 rushing yards, the 17 rushing touchdowns leading the league, and like last 2,000-yard rusher, Adrian Peterson won MVP. I don't think people are realizing how far ahead he is than all the other running backs. Because Rodgers, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Brady, their all stats were very close. Rodgers edged it a little bit. Derrick Henry is on a whole nother level when compared to the next running back in this statistics category. He single-handedly brought that Titans team to the playoffs. If you looked, when he was not performing well against the Ravens, their offense wasn't moving at all.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that. I was also going to say Derrick Henry. I mean, another option you could obviously go with is Devontae Adams. You could make an argument for Diggs, make an argument even for Josh Allen again. I don't see it being anyone else besides Derrick Henry though.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real here. Derrick Henry. They're big into stats. They give MVP sometimes to 2,000 yard rushers. So I don't see why he wouldn't get oh
Yeah.
boy.
Now, I don't think quarterback should be allowed to get offensive player of the year. And the only reason why I say that, or they should change how they vote for MVP, because there's been times where an MVP won when their players at other positions outperforming them in their respective category. Brady's last MVP, Todd Gurley, was an absolute monster for that Rams offense. He was that workhorse, doing everything in the passing game, in the rushing game, just being an absolute beast. And even so, even if you weren't going to give it to Todd Gurley, I do believe this, and as much as I hate to say this, it should have been Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz had more passing touchdowns than Tom Brady while missing more games.
The
He
last
had
four
less,
games, yeah.
like they really that yeah, the last that year they really only gave it to Tom Brady because of his age. Which
Yeah,
what he did at that age is remarkable, but they give it to quarterbacks way too often for for MVP that I don't think it will be fair to be having a quarterback for Opoi and MVP.
yeah. I think Rodgers in 2014 won MVP and Opoy, and I thought that I was pissed about that. I thought JJ Watt should have won MVP. Another example of I think them kind of screwing over some other positions and giving favorability to quarterbacks. And yes, Carson Wentz, if he played out those last four games, uh, probably would have been MVP that year. But I don't know, they don't give it
Yeah.
to injured players. Though they did give it to Joe Montana when he missed the last three games of the season back in the '80s. That's a whole nother story.
Oh wait, can we just? I just want to bring this up. I just want to talk about, besides Brady and Mahomes. If you look at the past MVPs, Carson Wentz kind of fell off. Cam Newton fell off. Matt Ryan fell off. Lamar Jackson didn't hasn't fallen off yet. But my dad's been saying this during his MVP season. He said 3 years and Lamar Jackson isn't a starting quarterback anymore. This year, next year, one more, and he's not a starting quarterback anymore. And for half of this year, I believed him. For the other half, I couldn't agree. I had to disagree with him. But Lamar Jackson is just too inconsistent, and that's gonna change. But Mahomes and Brady, besides that, Adrian Peterson, MVPs have one great year, and then they really tend to fall off. For the recent memory,
I think AP did not fall off. He had an incredible year in 2015 as well. But defensive player of the year. Oh, this is a tough one. There's so many
I
viable
think it's only really
candidates.
between two guys.
I think there's a lot of
I really
viable
think it's only between.
candidates. I mean, I probably in the end would have to go with either TJ Watt, or freaking Miles Garrett. Like I don't know. Or Aaron Donald. Oh my
Boy,
God, I'm forgetting about Aaron Donald. Oh my God.
whoa! No, no, no,
I think it's
no. You're
TJ Watt's
forgetting.
year though. I think it's TJ Watt's year.
I do believe it's. I do believe it's T.J. Watt, but number two in voting, Xavier Howard, 10 picks, 20 pass defense, leading the league in both, complete beast. And don't get me wrong, I think Miles Garrett and Aaron Donald were better players, but the year that Xavier Howard had, he's not getting enough love for defensive player of the year, or at least by you.
If he doesn't get any votes, that'll be a travesty. I agree. Xavier Howard, at least
Oh yeah,
some people have got to throw him something, man. He has had such an incredible year. I'm a huge Xavier Howard fan. This is
yeah,
now the Xavier Howard fan club. We're making a whole rebrand right now. Just gonna be the Xavier Howard fan club, even though neither
yeah.
of us are Dolphins fans. um, let's go to coach of the year. Now, typically they give it to the
Coach
team with the best record, but the team with the best record this year was what? The
no,
Chiefs. Andy Reid,
yeah.
sure maybe, but I feel like this year, what Kevin Stefanski did with the Browns to turn them around, the Browns were the most hyped team going into 2019 season, and they fell flat because Freddie Kitchens didn't know how to utilize that talent. Kevin Stefanski comes in and runs and has Chubb and Hunt have incredible years. Baker Mayfield bounced back in a huge way, even when Odell went down. Jarvis Landry, Rashard Higgins, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Cordero Hodge stepping up. Austin Hooper still doing just enough. David Njoku, Harrison Bryant getting so much out of that offense. And that defense, even when their secondary was depleted, I feel like it was Stefanski who, even though he wasn't really a defensive guy, he was the one who led he never let the defense become too much of a burden. I think that what Stefanski did with the Browns to turn them around and bring them one Tyreek Hill stop away from an AFC Championship game is incredible, especially considering they went 6-10 last year.
Yeah. Now, I was going to say, for Coach of the Year, it's between, in my opinion, Kevin Stefanski, Matt LaFleur, and Sean McDermott.
You're going to
Now,
snub
I
Brian
believe,
Flores? Whew.
and Brian Flores, but I don't know how you can get, like, Brian Flores had a great year with the Dolphins winning 10 games, but they still missed the playoffs, which is a huge factor for the voting. But I believe it should be Kevin Stefanski. But just to get into this, and this like has to intertwine with my predictions for next year, which we'll definitely get into another video. But I said when DeAndre Hopkins was traded to the Cardinals, they were going to be like the Browns, a young quarterback traded for an all-star receiver, missed the playoffs, even though everyone was betting on them to make the playoffs.
I think the Cardinals did better than the Browns.
It was like the Browns, and I think, yeah, they did do better, but they still missed the playoffs. And I have a prediction for my team next year with who's going there, which is Julio Jones to the Dolphins, where they missed the playoffs.
Wow.
But it's a big one. We'll decode that in another video. Stay tuned.
That's crazy. That would mean Tua probably would get traded. Whoa. You just threw me down that rabbit hole. Holy crap. Okay, no. Focused.
Yeah, we'll get back to that in another video.
I think I don't like the way the NFL chooses Coach of the Year. I think it's pretty lazy. Especially last year, every sign said Kyle Shanahan needs to be Coach of the Year because he took a team that went 3-13 and made them 13-3 and in the Super Bowl. Sure, John Harbaugh last year, unlocked Lamar Jackson and their team played phenomenally. They had a bunch of Pro Bowlers, but team success, Kyle Shanahan just turned that team around. I think Kyle Shanahan last year deserved it, and this year I think it's Kevin Stefanski. I think turning the team around and you basically being responsible for a team's success is huge. And I think without a doubt that Kevin Stefanski deserves it this year. Now let's go into Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Now,
I honestly don't think there isn't too much debate here. Mine's Justin Herbert.
Yeah. You can't take away from a guy who won 31, broke the record for rookie touchdowns with 31 passing touchdowns. But just so I just want to bring this up. Last quarterback to break the record for rookie passing touchdowns, Baker Mayfield, didn't win Offensive Rookie of the Year because of the man, Saquon Barkley. Yeah.
I was literally about to bring that up. I'm like, yes, he broke the record, but the last quarterback who did that didn't even win Rookie of the Year. And did Peyton Manning even win Rookie of the Year? Hold on.
Peyton Manning, I don't think so, because I know he led the league. Peyton Manning led the league in interceptions his rookie year.
Yeah, and I think that record still stands.
Yeah.
Well, not for most interceptions. I think Jameis broke that, but for a rookie, definitely.
Now, for Defensive Rookie of the Year, let's go to that. So I have an idea of who it's going to be, but it's not who I think should get it. I think it's going to be Chase Young, but I believe it should go to Jeremy Chin. And I love Jeremy Chin. I'm a big fan of him. But Chase Young, 7.5 sacks, and he was a phenomenal player. But I say there were a couple games where Chase Young kind of went silent, especially the playoff game, but they don't judge on playoff games, where Jeremy Chin was avid player, like the main player on that Panthers defense. He revolutionized that Panthers defense because the Panthers were planning on rebuilding and just had a bunch of young players. And he went out there and made it seem like he's been in the league for 10 years with how he's been playing. And Chase Young, he's going to get it, 7.5 sacks, which still isn't a crazy amount considering Nick Bosa had 12 last year. But I was saying Jeremy Chin had a phenomenal year. I think statistically he had a better year then Young, was more of an impact to his team than Young, but Young is going to get the MVP, going to get the award due to the press being obsessed with him.
By the way, the 1998 Offensive Rookie of the Year was actually Randy Moss. So, like every time that record has been broken, the quarterback hasn't won. But I think it's different this year with Herbert, unless Jefferson sweeps
Jefferson,
Jefferson.
Jonathan Taylor.
Maybe James Robinson. No, defensive rookie
No,
of the
it's
year. I
not
think
James
you're right.
Robinson.
I think Chase Young will get it. Chase Young, he's a media darling. Um, I wish he was such a no brainer of a draft pick, and everybody knew he would be success. I wonder who drafted him. I can't quite put my name on the man who drafted him. Who was that guy again? I don't
Hmm.
know.
Doesn't
uh,
matter.
yeah, whatever. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
Chase Young still had a phenomenal year, and I think that he will get it. I like your Jeremy Chin take. He was probably him and Julian Blackman. I think are the only two other ones who should even be in consideration. Um, uh, I forgot to mention in my top five defensive rookies, and I completely glossed over this dude. L'Jarius Sneed. Probably should have put him over AJ Terrell. Um, that's hindsight. He might get a vote out of nowhere because he had a very solid year, outperformed every expectation that was set for him. But it's going to be Chase Young. Chase Young, he I think he was part of that Washington defense that made them scary, and I think he's going to be a reason why free agents are going to want to go to Washington, even though their cap situation's mid.
Yeah, I could see that. I agree with that because that D line, they're all on their rookie contracts. I think I don't know about I know Davon Payne, Montez Sweat, Chase Young, all first round picks. I know there's someone else who I'm forgetting. I don't know if
Jonathan
he's still on
Allen
his rookie contract. Jonathan Allen. I don't
and
know if
Ryan
he's still on his
Kerrigan.
first round. Yeah, I know Kerrigan's not on his first
Yeah,
rookie contract. I don't.
it'll be a
Yeah, but
long
the
rookie
other four,
contract.
are all on their rookie contracts, and they're still they were the reason why the Redskins football team made the playoffs.
Oh, I know you didn't say that. I think
I
it's a
didn't.
great.
I didn't.
I think it's a very Tabasco level team that someone built. I can't think of. I don't know the culture. Something about the culture being
Yeah,
damn
no,
good.
no.
I don't know. That wasn't even him. That was Bruce Allen. We can
Yeah,
say Bruce Allen. Bruce Allen is just stupid.
yeah.
But anyway, thank you for talking today, Adam. I think this was a very productive conversation. I didn't call you as many names this time. But yeah, this has been another episode of the 90 Mile Podcast. Remember, drop a like, drop a subscribe, drop a comment if you really are nice about it, and we'll see you next time. We might have special guests on next
On the
time. Stay
90
tuned.
Mile Podcast.